That abortion clinic down there is hanging on by a thread, and they know it is. And if it weren't for these errant federal judges, which are the bane of all American society.
And that one, by the way, is appointed by our illustrious Bush president.
Right. And he's siding with the abortion industry to keep this place open when the woman who's running it has already had abortion clinics in Alabama closed for low medical standards, or no medical standards, basically.
Now, what's the reason behind this judge being able to say this, even though you got a law that's passed and they got to come up to a certain standard? But what's the reason behind the judges?
They're saying that the strangest thing, we were talking about this last night at dinner, there's always been this thing in the federal court system because of Roe versus Wade that you can't pose an undue burden, and this is the thing that came up in Casey later on, an undue burden on a woman's right to access abortion. Now they're saying, that's what this judge is saying, you can't impose an undue burden on the abortion clinic.
Yeah.
So if you're requiring them to have hospital privileges where if they butcher somebody, they have to be able to admit her to a hospital. If you require them to do that, and they can't get those hospital privileges, then you're creating an undue burden on the abortion clinic. And he doesn't care what this means for the women. He cares what it means for the abortionist.
And the frightening thing here is in Mississippi, the ambulatory surgical centers already have a very high standard of care. If you're a physician at a surgical center, you've got to have hospital privileges at a local hospital to provide continuity of care between your patient and what might happen in complications. But the abortion clinics have a lower standard. They can just fly in, hack somebody, and fly out the same day, and the emergency room's got to find out what happened to this poor woman. Now this Bush-appointed judge said, you know what, that would cause an undue burden on this abortionist. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and let the law be enacted. But if these guys can't get hospital privileges, we're going to fully disable this law.
They're insulating them from any punishment. So the law, he says, can go in effect, but you can't do a big thing about it if they violate it.
It's enforced, and they're not going to be punished for not having hospital privileges.
That sounds so, I don't know, I can't say hypocritical. That's weird.
George Orwell.
In other words, the law still stands.
Right.
And the judge say the law is valid.
Right.
But you can't use it.
You can't do anything with it.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's the abortion distortion.